Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big roster rumours emerging overnight as to what could be going on with NRG in the very near future. Theoretically one of the best teams on paper in the Americas for the upcoming season. Still though, do not have a fourth and a fifth player on their team as it stands. Rumour had it a while ago, they wanted Ethan to end his stint on Evil Geniuses, bring him back to the NRG organisation. This now seems increasingly likely after a merch drop that EG did yesterday, where Ethan's name did not initially appear on the merch drop itself. How was this mistake made, if it was a mistake, or does it imply that actually there is a good chance that Ethan is gone from EG and could well be back to NRG in the very near future? Very much interested your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into. Firstly here from Fnatic, actually, just looking at the championships they won this year. Kind of crazy what they won, the fact that, you know, they didn't end up winning the World Championship, but they won basically everything else they played. Maybe this team will continue to do that going into next season. It was a pretty comfortable victory in the Cloud9 against Cloud9 in the finals in the end, at least the last couple of maps, but they went down 2-1 in that finals, so Cloud9 looking good with Curry as a substitute, but nonetheless, this was Fnatic's year, mostly, but Evil Geniuses somehow winning the World Championship is still an unbelievable story, and we shall see here in a second one of the merch drops they've done as a result, and the fact that Ethan, one of their most important players to winning the World Championship, did not initially appear on it. Also some drama around ranked at the moment. I know that people have been asking for Tarek's Pro City 10s to make a return. ShahZaM and other content creators, they try and grind it, but it never really ends up too well, and ShahZaM says used to sweat every game, but there's too many griefers, still no avoid list. Feels bad, man. Yeah, it doesn't feel like, at least for the pros on the top level, that they're having a good time in ranked, and maybe Riot needs to think about how to prevent this stuff from happening. Now let's talk about Evil Geniuses. So again, another lawsuit. We've said over the last few days multiple reasons why Riot could well be considering, or possibly just should be considering, what the future of Evil Geniuses is in their partnership league. This is the benefit of having a partnership league and not a franchise league. EG haven't paid any money to get into the league. In fact, they're getting paid by Riot the stipends to be a good partner. Now, if they're not a good partner, that's when potentially Riot could think, maybe will think, that, you know what, EG, you're out of here, and as soon as G2's time is up as a guest team, then they can become the full-time team. I don't know. That's just a theory, but there is so many issues at Evil Geniuses right now, and another lawsuit was being talked about yesterday they're having to deal with, this time on the Dota side for breach of contract as well as fraud and deceit. So are you surprised? Not particularly, but EG have done it again. Now, they've also done another merch drop yesterday, and look, I like Carly Bot a lot. Carly put this together, thought it was awesome that they did the collaboration together, and I thought she did a stellar job. Now, there was clearly some mistake somewhere on this Potter design that either Carly made. I think she did a tweet about it, but then it was deleted, so I didn't exactly see what she said. But surely a mistake of this magnitude should have been spotted by the Evil Geniuses people themselves. So yeah, as you know, Robertson says, this is actually good merch, but at the worst possible time. And also, why is Ethan not on this design? And that is a very good question. I'm still a little bit confused why they won the World Championship quite a while ago, yet this merch is dropping now. You guys remember they dropped that terrible merch just after Champs, and everyone was clowning them, and they basically said, all right, yeah, sorry guys, we'll do better, and we'll just release it later, I guess. So anyway, I thought like Carly did a great job putting this stuff together, but this was the original one. This has now been removed, and Ethan has been added back in, but yeah, so the team is on the right-hand side. Boostio, Jorgamo, Demon 1. Now, this looks like C8M, just because of the font. I'm a bit confused because I thought initially that it was just a 0 with a line through it. You know, the zeros usually will have a line through it just to show that it's a 0 and not an O. But in Boostio, Jorgamo, Demon 1, it's still an O without the line through it. So this just looked like C8M, to be honest, which is kind of mind-blowing. But yeah, I don't know what happened there, but still, that's what it looks like to me. And then Potter, the coach of the team. So no Ethan, of course. Fantastic. So this is their like merch shop they opened yesterday with the other things. And to be honest, like some of this stuff is actually not bad. I know that many people will say, I ain't giving anybody to this organization, and I totally get that. But yeah, so eventually they did add, Ethan was added in here underneath to the rest of the numbers. And sure, fine, but it definitely raised questions as to why this was the case initially. We can see here, right, okay, for some reason it doesn't want to zoom in, but you guys can see that now it says, here we go, you can see it now says Ethan underneath, where it should initially have been. Now, Com still looks like C8M or C6M or something, I don't really know, but look, it's a cool collaboration, I'm glad they put it together, but the fact that Ethan wasn't there was initially and immediately raising questions, because how was Ethan missed off this list? He was one of the most important players to them winning the World Championship, and sure, Carly might have made a mistake thinking, alright, well, you've asked us to put Potter on here, so I guess that's the 5, but missing Ethan off is like, how is that even possible? Now, it's not, I can understand Carly making the mistake maybe, what I can't understand is how evil geniuses saw this, saw surely that Ethan wasn't on there and decided to push it live. And initially when people saw this, they thought, and I can understand it, that maybe this was almost deliberate, right? As in, is Ethan even there anymore? And therefore he's not getting recognized in our merchandise. I just don't understand how this mistake slipped through the cracks at Evil Geniuses for this to actually be a public piece of merchandise that was briefly available before they then made the change and added Ethan regardless. So it did then raise the question, well, you know, is this because Ethan isn't there anymore, or have relationships broken down internally with Ethan? They probably have with most of their players, let's be honest, and they can release merch all they like. I'm sure that many Valorant fans want them to just release their players. That would be a nice step, but it's probably not going to happen. Now, Chet Singh, coach over at NRG, he's been commenting for some time what the future of NRG might be. We've talked about the analysts they're looking to sign over the last few days, and this reply here was pretty funny. Go for a roster of 5 players first though, yeah? And Chet does say, okay, Valorant's first always, don't worry. So yeah, they are looking to build a 5-man team very soon, and Chet says, yeah, definitely a priority, but for now we don't really know what NRG are up to. It was actually back on October the 19th where James of F said that finally NRG are doing something and they're starting to move. It's been known for a very long time now that it is going to be Victor, Crashies, Marved, and then, well, who else? We don't really know at the moment, and that is the big debate that is going on right now. As I've said before, to be honest, putting FNS and ShahZaM back in that team sounds pretty good on paper to me, but they're probably not going to do it, and, you know, FNS and ShahZaM are going to do content or whatever, and it doesn't look like they're going to return to NRG. So apparently they were making moves a little while ago, and then just yesterday, George Geddes tweeted this out, NRG, and it's the Thierry Henry gif, and says, you know, I see what they're doing, you know, it's cooking type thing. So he's clearly heard that they're building something good, and again, if there's any options remaining that are actually gettable, especially if 100 Thieves are trying to get Booster as we think they are, could NRG get Ethan? It just makes a lot of sense. EG in shambles, so much stuff going on over there. They surely need some money as well, you know what I mean? Like EG, with everything that's happening, they're going to have to, apparently they're cutting like loads of staff, loads of operations, leaving certain esports because it just doesn't make sense financially. Money coming in to buy some of these players out of their deals might make a fair bit of sense, and we believe that EG were offered 100k for either both Demon 1 or Ethan, or one of Demon 1 or Ethan, who knows, a little while ago. That was then rejected. Could that be accepted now? Is that the reason why Ethan wasn't on the EG merch? I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised massively if NRG Ethan becomes a thing again in the very near future. It makes just a lot of sense. It works for NRG on paper. He goes back to an organization that he was at before. But if Ethan was to go, then what does that mean for the rest of the team? Because if Ethan departs to NRG, if Boostio departs to 100 Thieves, what does Demon 1 think about it? I'm sure that he would probably want to go as well. But the reality is there isn't too many other options remaining on the market right now. Like, how many other teams are there that Demon 1 could go to? There aren't really any, apart from, unless he was to go to NRG as well. That was the other rumor, that maybe Ethan and Demon 1 to NRG, and of course we saw that they're interested, and now we've got George Geddes saying, well, you know, they're cooking something, and on the same day that EG released merch without Ethan. So I don't know, maybe there's some, maybe it's just a coincidence, maybe there's some pieces there to be put together to try and figure out what might be happening, but NRG have to put something together soon, and if they are actually going to build something competitive, you would think that a couple of the EG guys, if they could get them, would be the way to go. Now, just before we close out here, thought this is pretty interesting. Most kills in VCT 2023 during the entire season. So a lot of these go to the players that, well, that went deep in tournaments, shall we say, and played a lot of games. So even at the start of the season, right, when the lock-in event happens, you're expecting to see Loud up here quite a fair bit. But Aspas had the most kills by a margin, 1,402. Demon 1 was here, Jorgamo was here, and even Boost Boostio was here. So not bad, to be fair. Boostio only just behind Durka with 1182, 1177 respectively. Ethan's here as well, a player that we just talked about. Even Som made it, the top performer on NRG. Buzz is here, so probably usual suspects you might expect. Durka, of course, we mentioned. But as Boostio does say, not bad for an IGL at all, and potentially also not bad for whatever future team he might potentially join, which could be happening in the near future. So we'll see. 100T didn't have the greatest performance of the Red Bull home ground in Tokyo. Nature didn't perform so well, and I do wonder whether, you know, come January or whatever they play next, whether potentially, you know, Nature for Boostio is indeed going to be a thing. So I guess we'll stay tuned for that, and it probably does depend what other tournaments that 100T decide to play between now and then. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
We're not remaking. Don't tell him to come back. It's a remake.
It's not a remake.
He's died.
See ya.
And DeAndre. What is that guy doing?
Minimal.
One you.
One ball. That's it. Never mind.
Both.
Spike planted.
50 gifted.
You owe me 5 gifted if you win this. Actually, you owe me 10.
Oh my god!
Hero, pay up.
Somebody pay me right now.
Pay
Pay me
little kid.
right now.
Hero, pay up, little kid.
That was Ali. That was Ali.
What do you mean?